We'll go up to the top. David and Elaine, what's up? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Hi, Angelo.
Hello,
Good to see
hello.
you, and Tony, obviously, and hi from Elaine as well. Good to see you. Yeah, my question today. So I'm just really sort of just checking in with you, and yeah, it's what's going on here now is I think is like a process which was really accelerated at the Waldingham retreat last year, and I talked to you about it with on the double barrel with Raven, and that was where I experienced this a shift from a contracted energy, which would normally be focused in the solar plexus, and then that moved up through the body to the heart, which then sort of opened up, and this feeling of, I suppose I call it like almost like grief, sadness, which I've held for quite a while, and feeling as if I wanted to weep. Which I did actually on that sort of last full day. We did the Kirtan, but anyway, so that was, I thought, was significant. But what I've sort of been experiencing sort of recently is what I can only describe as this is like an emotional porousness where experiences which the mind would go, well, actually, that's really insignificant and nothing. It's just like felt so deeply that it's like this sort of the defensive barriers to the experience. It's almost like it's like breaking down. And I'm just really sort of feeling these things on a really sort of deep level. Now, when this sort of started to happen, I noticed the narrative of the mind rising up and going, "Oh, you're just being ridiculous. These are very insignificant events. Why are you getting so upset about it?" And also the sense of the narrative saying, "Well, life's going to be very challenging and very problematic if you're going to be feeling things this deeply, trying to navigate through life." I have a sense of what it is. I've got an intuition, but I sort of wanted to check in with you that I'm not sort of off track. And my sense is that when I did have some time ago this sort of shift of identity away from a separate self, it's like but there was, although that was seen and really known on another level, the structures, the energetic structures that were still in place, which supported that sense of a separate self, were still very much intact. And what it feels now is that those structures are like starting to sort of dissolve. And this sort of, it's like a sort of a heavy tunic, which is like, which has been woven with this very strong weave that is a sense of a separate self. It's like it's starting to unravel, become sort of quite bare and a bit threadbare in places, which is then leading to this like emotional porosity. Does that make any sense
Yeah.
to you?
Tony, would you like to go first or would you like me to?
Sure, I will. Yeah, the threadbare or the that you're talking about, the tunic to me is what I was referring to before with like
Mm.
that the energetic thought. It's like those thought filters. The self is never not there. So you're not getting rid of it. It's not going away, kind of what you might say, but it's the characteristics of the character are there. So the belief is what you're going after. So when you start to unravel that, then
Mm.
it's going to feel like a wearing away or a thinning or whatever way you want to call it. With some of the non-dual stuff, for me, it felt like the grid was blinking, like energetically blinking out, and then allowing stuff in. So when you're feeling the energy or the emotions or whatever comes up from that, and then the thoughts comment that says this is no big deal or you shouldn't pay attention to this or whatever you were saying, it says just you recognize them because you're telling us about them, so that's good because you know they're there, so you're already catching them. So I would just say when that happens, just, no fight, no judgment, no blame, just sit there, let it be there, and then return to that empty looking, and let whatever, it's like you're not going towards the emotion or towards, you're just dropping your shields and letting reality in. It's just coming
Yeah.
in. The shields are the thoughts and the protections and what you built. So you're just letting reality in. And when you do, of course, that's when that emotional stuff's going to come up, or the fear, or whatever you were describing. And then that's the process then of the shadow work that, Angela always talks about. But it sounds like you're doing it right. I mean, that's right. Just don't believe the thoughts about it to take you back, you back in the mind, stay right there.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with everything Tony said. You're in a good place that you're describing the seventh and eighth fetter kind of dissolving out, and these things happen in different orders and so forth. And sometimes the seventh fetter just disappears, like the formlessness is clear and then the no self follows later. Sometimes they kind of go together, and yours are kind of fading out together. And you seem like you're doing great with it. Like there's not, I don't see reactivity. I don't see even a lot of resistance at all. And as Tony said, just always keep some attention to thoughts that are sneaking in. I hesitate to say this because I don't want hypervigilance to thought either, because you don't need it. But there's a balance to that where, not paying attention to thoughts at all, you may not realize they're sneaking in, like the thoughts that say, I might not be able to function, or this is too much, or because even those little subtle thoughts can be really distorting in the feeling of it. Like it can feel far more dysphoric than it needs to, because there's one thought in the back that's just like, I don't know if I can handle this, So just noticing those thoughts just kind of releases them. And then more and more, you just kind of lean into the non-dual and avoid the tendency to turn back around to thought to rescue you. And you'll see like non-duality has infinite capacity, like the visual field, the auditory field, the sense field, all being completely interpenetrated with one another. There's so much space for emotion to move through, or sensations to move through, or energy to move through. And it is a powerfully energetic process at times. And then, it'll calm down, and then it'll be more intense, and it'll calm down. But over time, it becomes rather peaceful, actually, and joyful. So I think you're in a great place. Your intuition seems to be leading you right to where you're going to be, just finding that liberation.
Yeah.
On a day-to-day basis.
I think what might have, be perhaps accelerating this is actually there's less self-inquiry now, which there might have been sort of like a few years ago, with, I think sort of Tony was touching on this, less asking of, well, who am I? I think the process recently, which was certainly accelerated at Waldingham, is really taking these deep dives into whatever happens to be arising. And there's a lot of energetics happening here. And when they occur, whereas in the past I might have tried to distract myself with thought and trying to analyze it and overanalyzing it, now it's like I just really go really deep, pay attention onto these emotions as they rise up, and that initial attention sometimes, it really makes those sensations and those energetics so much bigger. The heart rate starts to increase. I start to feel hot, these sort of pulsatings in the body. But rather than distract myself from it, now it's really just going really deep. And it seems to be like it's churning this stuff up now. So, does that sound sort of consistent as well?
Totally consistent. And the only adjustment I'll make for you or give you to consider is all this stuff is subtle that I'm talking about. I don't want to give you anything that turns into a project of any kind. But as you notice, like the intensity of energetics moving through, because it's going to be kind of episodic for a while, as you're talking about, it will settle out. But for a while, it might just be like very calm, and then like, whoa, this isn't like electricity moving through, right? Just notice if there's any tendency to narrow attention in any sense field or any part of any sense field when that's happening. And what ultimately resolves this is that, like maybe I could say like resistance happens at different levels. The first level we start to break that level down once we wake have that first shift. That the first level is thought. They were just totally dissociated into thought all the time. Once that breaks, then there's like sort of emotional resistance patterns and more fundamental thoughts about what I can handle, what I can't handle, being stuck in a body, all of those. When those start to fall away, then it's just more of like a habit of narrowing attention. And so if you just notice like, okay, there's intense energetics moving through,
Mhm.
no real thoughts about it. I don't really have any reactivity around here, around thoughts in this experience. And yeah, okay, it's here. Oh, okay, I can see how the attention has narrowed down a bit into just that physical space. What about just widening it, noticing that it's already wide open, but widening it, so to speak, into the visual field, the sound field, the sensation field, and that's that infinite space I'm talking about. You will notice that at some point, even what used to feel like something rather intense and, you know, you kind of gotta not maybe not brace yourself, but you just kind of go,
Mhm.
okay, when's this going to end? And then it goes away. At some point, you're like, oh, even that is not what I thought it was. It's not so intense. It's
Mhm.
more just powerful. But the power of that in the vast infinite container of non-dual is not a problem at all. So the last thing I would say is just notice if there's any narrowing of attention in subtle ways that's
Right.
underneath as a habit to the resistance patterns and everything else that are calming down tremendously now. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you as always, Angela, and to Tony. And Angela, we've signed up to the retreat, so in Waddingham, so we'll hopefully see you in August again.
Beautiful. See you there.
Take care. Thanks a lot.
Take care. Bye, Lane.
Bye.
Hi, Angelo, you're on mute. I think I saw Pete on your lips.
You did. You read my lips properly. Excellent. Thank you, Pete.
Perfect. Hi, I'm new here, so hello. I'll send some
Hello.
love to everyone in the chat.
Welcome,
Um,
welcome.
and yeah, I should start by saying massive thank you, Angelo, for all of the resources and the obvious care that you put into them. That's massively appreciated. Um, maybe as a quick bit of context for my question. I've been kind of exploring this process for a few years now, but in the last month or month and a half, what do I feel? I feel like I stepped onto a water slide, and I'm gonna like keep on going until I get spat out with a splash at the other end, whether I want to try and put the brakes on or not.
There you
Um,
go. That's pretty much what it's like.
and kind of coincident with that and those changes is like the first time I've ever felt these like waves of like existential terror coming across me as well, which I understand is also part of the process. Um, and when those have risen up and I've sat with them, like they've really quickly dissipated, gone, or evolved to the point where like some of the times I've started chuckling, laughing to myself because like if I sit with them, then like the paradoxical nature of it all means like it's like I'm having existential fear over not being able to answer the question of like what is three plus triangle. Like it just doesn't make any sense, the things that I'm
Say
scared
say that
of.
again.
If
What'd you say?
it's like it's as if I'm like having existential terror over something like a question that doesn't make any sense, like what is three
Okay.
plus triangle? It just doesn't, it kind of
Yeah.
all falls apart. Um,
Sure.
the very thing, the very thing I'm following that raises the fear is also the same thing that means the fear doesn't kind of have any grasp on anything. And so they pass really quickly, those experiences. Um, and I just like I don't know. I don't I don't know whether I'm getting off too easy or too lightly. And so I thought it would be nice to check in because I don't know if am I somehow like sidestepping or skirting around that experience, like, or is it plausible that that is kind of just how it's washing through me? I
Hmm.
hope that makes sense.
Sure. What you got, Tony?
I mean, it sounds, if it's whooshing you along and you're feeling it, it sounds pretty good to me. It doesn't sound like you're blocking yourself in any way. And the the fear, we always talk about the fear barrier, but and that's an important part of the first awakening for sure. That happens for a lot of people. Um, but also, this process is, it's also, when you said you started laughing, and it's like, when frameworks fall away and beliefs get deconstructed, and you see that how uh, their ego, I started calling it the algorithm, because it feels like a magical algorithm. And I used to think thoughts were the enemy, and now I think thought is this luminous, magical, mysterious thing that helps put this whole thing together. It's just like this stuff starts to become, there, so much gratitude comes in, and so much like awe. It's like awe.
Hmm.
It's so mysterious, and it remains mysterious. It's like, I still, like, we say thought, and a lot of times we talk about thought so much that it can almost become rote, or like nothing. It feels like it's a dead thing, but it's magically alive and magically mysterious, and appearing for itself, just like every other sensation. And after realization, it kind of becomes equal to the other sensations, instead of taking up all the space. But you're gonna encounter, all kinds of ways. You're gonna have gratitude. You're gonna have goofy joy about it. You're gonna laugh at how absurd some of the stuff you believed before was. And then you're going to have fear, and because when those things start coming to pieces, yeah, it take the floor out from under you. There definitely could be a lot of energetics and a lot of fear. And but to me, the way you described so far, it sounds like you're enjoying the ride and going along with it. And just watch out for the stuff we talk about with avoiding the emotions that come up. And I, I don't I don't think I've heard. Did you say anything about emotions yet? I don't think you did.
No, although at the same time, or kind of in parallel, yeah, with some of these other feelings, like it's also I've felt way more energy moving around me than I ever have before. I had to jump up. I was sitting like a week ago, and I had to jump up because I thought I was gonna be sick. I wasn't, and I was fine. But like it was kind of as a like marker of how much things are feeling like they're moving in that sense. Like yeah, energetically, emotionally, yeah, for sure. Like it seems to be like there's things bubbling.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, that sounds great. It sounds like you're activating the current in an energetic way that is letting you start to come apart, break this stuff down. And that sounds great. I mean, I don't that sounds really good to me.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're in a good place with it. The way you're describing your experience feels to me like you are willing to go, willing to really explore beyond your thoughts, beyond your mind. And what you're describing is um, tracks for me. Like when you say letting go of the thought of use the example of a triangle, like a meaningless thought or something, but letting go of that somehow triggers a fear response. Like that mechanism is really important to see that what triggers the what I call the fear barrier, or just a existential fear response, especially when you're approaching an awakening. What triggers it is we don't realize the degree to which we're afraid of not thinking for a short period of time. Like thoughts are so constant in our mind that we don't realize, like, to actually go 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds without grasping or getting involved in a thought, like really entertaining a thought. We don't realize how afraid we are of that. And that's why I talk about entering the unknown, entering the mystery. But that's all you're doing in that moment. In a very simple way, you're just going, Let's just find out what happens when I just move on and don't grab any thought. I don't try to characterize my experience. I don't try to use a thought to soothe me. Just what's here. And notice you have a very innate ability to not grasp thought. It's actually quite possible. And when you do that, all of a sudden you'll feel, I don't want to tell you what you will experience because I don't know on a given moment or in a given moment, but I can just tell you pattern-wise, it's not uncommon to have like a fear response. If that comes, it's not a bad thing. Just stay the course. Don't grasp thoughts about the fear either. Just feel it. Just be like, holy shit, it's intense, right? We've had several people talk about this today. Yeah, it's intense. Oh, intense is a thought too. Oh, I might die, right? Like that's the thought that often comes. I might go crazy. I might die if, and wait a minute, that's just another thought. Just let that emotion, that sensation of intensity, the heart rate, going up, and just letting that move through. It will subside. Might take a few minutes. It will take a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. That's how long epinephrine lasts in your system. It will calm down. Stay the course. Don't grasp the next thought. Don't move your mind. Don't get entangled with thoughts. It is quite possible to do that. That's the pathway to entering the mystery right now. It's always here. It's not evasive. The fact that it's a mystery, or this statement that it's a mystery, doesn't mean it's obscure. It's not obscure. It doesn't mean it's rare. It's not rare. It's actually right here all the time. But we're using thought we're like crack addicts with thought, literally, like just constantly just taking the next hit of thought to not see it. So when someone says, I want to wake up, it's like, I know they do at some level. I also know they don't at some level. There's always a competing agenda there, right? But there's the deeper part of you, the truer part of you, the truer part of reality does want to wake up because it wants to know itself. It wants to experience reality as it is rather than as the mind is inflecting it constantly. So just know that as you move forward into this. But your general orientation feels authentic to me, feels good. Is that helpful?
Super. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Have fun. All right. Let's go to Jahira. What's up? What's up?
Oh, hi.
Hello. It's been a minute.
I know. I've been eating edibles, and it's interesting because when I used to smoke back in the day, it used to get me, like, I used to be paranoid. But now, after that first glimpse, it's like, and I've talked to you about this before, like the paranoia just points. Now it's a pointer instead of like, I'm paranoid, I'm scared. It's like, now it's like, oh shit, I'm paranoid. What is that about? Like, it's like pointing me exactly where to go. So it's like enjoyable because I laugh more and I'm like, I get more scared, but then I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to just like, oh, like, what is it that I'm scared of? Like, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, so I mean, I guess, yeah, everything's on the call has been leading, especially what you just said to him. Like, I think what came up recently was like, oh, like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what the hell's going on here, And it's like, there's that mystery that like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. And like, I really can't control it. Like, yeah. And it's like, so like, we don't really like, that's my question. Like, yeah, we don't know what the hell's going on here, but we just pretend that we do. And then we try to figure out how to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so that's what the mind does all day long. It's fabricating. That's what it's doing. It's fabricating, trying to fabricate something out of nothing, something that can be communicated to others, something that can be agreed upon, something that can make us feel safe, something that can make us feel certain. And all of those are really surrogates in my experience. They're really surrogates for what we really want, which is true ease, peace, spontaneity, fluidity, total congruent trust in your experience, non-dual, ongoing realization. It's a good way to live. But it's not something. It's not a paradigm. It's not a map. It's not a way of looking at reality. It's not a lens. It's living without any of that, actually, and realizing it's deeply and profoundly natural and enjoyable. And kind of crazy.
And
It's a little bit like an acid trip.
yeah, yeah. Like when you asked me before, like, what am I afraid of? Because, my son's pain and like, yeah, I guess I don't want him to die. I don't want to die. I don't want him to die. Like, I'm so attached to like that, right? That like I'm stuck in it or something, or like it seems like,
Yeah, that's one of the tenets of Buddhism, right? Is impermanence. The idea of permanence, and it means death. I mean, it relates to the permanence of the human body and the self. We don't really care about the permanence of anything except ourself, ultimately, or that which is we identify
as
with
an
as
extension
part of
of
me, my
ourselves.
family,
Yeah,
my loved ones, of
yeah.
course. But ultimately, that's what Buddhism says very accurately, is like that is actually unsatisfying because we know it's not true. We're trying to make ourselves real in a way that we aren't.
Yeah.
We're neither real nor unreal, but I mean that's what we're doing but it's unsatisfying because we're using thought to do it, and it's just inaccurate, right? We're holding on, we're holding on, but we're using thought to hold on.
Hmm.
And it like I was telling someone a couple people ago, like it narrows our focus, which is uncomfortable. It requires ongoing energy, which is uncomfortable. And most importantly, it filters out our natural experience. And the natural experience is deeply intimate, profoundly free, but it's not permanent. There's no permanence about it. It's neither permanent nor impermanent, actually. But permanence is the fixation, survival, permanence, predictability. We
Yeah.
think that it gives us a momentary hit of feeling okay or something, but it comes with, especially when it's habituated, it comes with an underlying sense of not okay, actually, not okayness, because we know it's not true. We know this
Yeah.
is going
That's
away.
why. Yeah. Yeah. And what he said too was like when he put his hands down and that, yeah, like oh, wait, you're here again. You know what I mean? Like you're in control of this. You're gonna get up right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
so like fast,
Mm-hmm.
like, and with my son wanting to help him, it's like, I gotta figure it out. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta help him. Like, I'm gonna decide.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm high and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just pretending that I'm doing that. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a good use of THC.
yeah, yeah. Cause you're like, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
good
it's
though,
like,
right? I mean, you're
yeah,
getting
no,
under the hood and feeling the emotion that is driving the behavior and beliefs.
yeah, yeah. Beautiful. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
You're welcome. Nice to see you.
Me too.
All right. Next, we will go to Christopher.
Hi, Angela. Hi,
Hey,
Tony.
hey.
Hey, man, great book. I really appreciate that. Partly that on thought, once I got that thought's not real. So the self dissolved almost instantly. I couldn't figure out how to dissolve it, but like I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And then I went to the part of like, well, okay, well, what about like eternal self? And then that's when the existential fear came up, and I go, well, how can I have that fear if it's not already true? So I got that part, and things are moving pretty quick. Um, but I'm feeling the weird space-time dilation. Like I think my brain or that part of me got the internal part, but like the rest of me is just having troubles catching up. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah.
Um, what do you do for like just to stabilize yourself? Because like
Mm,
I'm literally having troubles walking sometimes, or
mm,
like I'll uh, just get lost in time.
mm, mm. What do you got, Tony?
Uh, I definitely think grounding, grounding exercises for certain things like that and energetic stuff. Um, like qigong or TRE and the ground like grounding exercise in general exercise. If you get too far out, you can ground yourself with all that kind of stuff. Um, but then sometimes you explore that and see what comes up and see what energetics come up and what emotions come up and let it be and be with it. And if you're feeling like you're too far out there and you can't function, then there's some grounding is a good idea.
It feels more like I'm snapping back and forth really quick. Like I can feel. I watched one of your videos. You talk about the push pull when you're like at the visual in the visual field. Um, One of the odd things was I got scared by a picture, and I was like, "Well, why am I scared of the picture?" And I go, "Oh, I feel like I'm separate from it," and so I'm trying to
Mm,
create an understanding of why there's this separation. Soon I was letting go of that thought concept of separation. I felt like the picture just like snapped right back really close to me. So that's where I feel like the oscillation's happening. And I just got one last question. You guys can piggyback both of it is sleeping. This is weird. Like I'll go to bed and I'm laying there, but it's like I'm conscious. The A lot of the night, it's like okay, my body feels like it's resting. I didn't think I was sleeping for a while, and then I heard myself snoring. I'm like what the heck is going on? I thought I was awake, but it's like apparently I'm sleeping. So is that common too, or is that, or what do you do with
yeah,
that?
there's nothing to do with it. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's a cure for it or anything, but I know exactly what you mean. It happens intermittently to me where I'll have a night where it's like part of me was just clearly awake the whole night, but
Yeah,
the body slept for sure.
yeah.
So it's strange. It is odd. I know.
I feel like I'm not
You'll get
supposed.
used to it.
I feel like I'm gonna wake up and say, oh, I'm gonna be so dreadfully tired. I didn't feel like I slept at all, and I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm just kind of
Hmm.
walking around.
Yep, exactly. Noticing the thoughts about it are the more distressing part of it, and realizing like, oh, yeah, my body will sleep when it needs to, and to the degree it needs to. But there can be that I don't know. That's it's a very bare like sort of bare awareness, and it's often sound like you can hear yourself snoring and stuff, but there's something that's just slightly aware throughout the night, and I know exactly what that is, but nothing to do about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Other
sleep
than that,
sleep definitely gets different with a lot of this stuff. You may have less sleep at times, more sleep at times. You may have a lot of energetics coming through at night, and do some
yeah,
TRE that can help, things like that.
yeah,
But ultimately, what Tony said is right on the money. It's like if you feel like you're just too out there, you're kind of, having issues with function or whatever, do grounding stuff, relax, grounding, grounding, grounding. Take walks in nature, lay on the ground, take a bath, listen to soft music, like physical grounding into the senses. But if not, it can be a good place to explore as well because that all those
okay.
boundaries are just dissolving, and so emotion will come through different things, and it can be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's dissolving so fast. Like I don't, I'm just having troubles keeping up.
Hmm.
Well, the one of the last thought I wanted to say it. Maybe I totally forgot it, but oh yeah, I think it's inevitable. It's like I can't do anything about it now. I just feel like a ball, like a stone rolling forward. Like as soon as I try to go to a thought or something else, part of me just goes, "No, you're not going to do that anymore."
Yeah.
Okay.
Adyashanti had this way of describing this once. I thought was really good. He's like, the this this process of awakening or whatever. It's kind of like you find this celestial body out in space, and you're like, wow, how beautiful is that? I've never seen this before. Never seen anything so beautiful. And you get closer to it, and you want to explore it. At some point, you're like in its gravitational pull, and you can't get
Yeah.
out. And you may have a
Yeah.
fear response, like, holy shit, I can't get out of this. Like I'm going in fully. It's taken everything and you feel that it's a visceral experience. But again, you'll also get used to that.
Yeah, I guess that's that feeling I think of that push pull initially. It's like, oh, I am just going in. Like, there's nothing I can do about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys. I really
you're in a
appreciate it.
good place, man. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Let's see here. We'll go to Francesco.
Oh,
Hello,
hello.
hello.
So, hasn't been a long time since last time. So I wanted to report that I practice as Josh suggested the sense of urgency and the sense of risk. And it happened that I was at workplace, it's open space, and just hit me like, oh, I don't know. I was looking, hearing, and then I thought, is this really happening? Is this true? Was like, no. And I don't know, I just lost it. Body freeze, completely frozen. Couldn't move. Heartbeat racing. And don't know, the strangest thing was that a visual field, I would say that it was all focused. So normally I would have a more narrow focus on what I'm watching. And it was all in focus, all the visual field. And I wanted to distract. I wanted to, okay, I'm gonna do this, touch myself in some way, and it wasn't available. And I don't know, it was 1, 2 minutes of, I don't know, I would describe pure hell because I couldn't move, I couldn't do, and I was afraid even of staying up from the chair because I said, can I really move my legs and go from here, from there? Are these my legs? I don't know. And wanted to ask because I think there was after a short, nice moment, it was, I would say DPDR because it was really like, is this real? Am I real? Is this context real? Am I in a coma imagining this? And it was like a bad trip, but without drugs. I don't know. Yeah.
Hmm. Tony, would you like to start or would you like me to?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So the description you just gave of that experience, I've heard this, I've heard it of people having experiences very, very similar to that, like almost verbatim. And sometimes that happens when we have a sort of deep dropping in where the sense of volition, the sense of being an agent, like the one who's controlling the body and controlling movements and all that, is just gone suddenly. It's like maybe it's not completely gone or permanently gone, but it's gone for the moment. It can be very strange, and the mind really does not know what to do with it. The mind will say things like, "Well, without thinking, how can I get out of this chair? Like, how if without thinking, how am I going to walk across the room? Without thinking, how am I going to move my arm?" And when, like, normally, if that thought came through your mind, it wouldn't be scary. It would be like funny, right, or goofy. But when you are simultaneously experiencing that there actually is no agency, there is no separate self doing anything, it can be fearful, right? So in and of itself, this doesn't mean anything other than you're getting more direct experience. You're just getting more direct experience of reality. But again, sometimes it comes in parts. Like it's like it's a bit of a mismatch in what you're experiencing and what you're not experiencing. All I can tell you is this probably won't happen like consistently for you. It may happen here and there. You'll realize like, okay, the fear aspect of it is unfounded because obviously you did get out of the chair and you did walk across the room and you do know how to feed yourself. It's just that there's no one behind experience doing that. It's just happening, right? So with time, this will be not distressing. It'll actually be quite the opposite. It starts to feel like a relief to not feel like you're having to be in control of everything all the time as this separate agent, this separate entity that has to keep all these thoughts about itself together and understand everything. Like all of that is so energetically dense. When it's not there, it feels very freeing. It feels fluid. Life is just enjoyable to just flow on the way it does, appear, disappear, move, shape, change, fluctuate all the time. Like that whole experience is deeply enjoyable when you see that you don't need to propagate it. It's happening on its own. It's very light. It's very emergent and joyful ultimately, but it can take some time before that's obvious.
Mm. Yeah, I wanted to ask about this not having anything to grasp, and I don't know. I would like to say no, give me back what I had for all this lifetime because at least I know it. And yeah, it was a bit challenging because I think I was hyper vigilant for almost 2 days afterwards. I couldn't. I would like to say so. I wanted to go baseline again because it was too much. I don't know, even some sounds maybe that don't give me any problem. It was like so. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It can be full on when it's like I said. It doesn't always happen in a smooth process. Sometimes it's like you get a full on experience of no self or a full on experience of non-dual where it's like so much, like sound is so intense, sensations are so intense. But as we've talked with many people today, like over time you just settle into it more and more and more, and it will become enjoyable. But yeah, sometimes we get a big hit of that early on, and then it's like thought's normal way of experiencing, orienting all the time to thought and time and space, and all of a sudden it's just blown out and not there. It can be a little hard to integrate that. This happens a lot of times with people who try psychedelics as well. Like, first time you try a psychedelic or like 5-MeO DMT or something, and there's just no sense of anything, no self, no world, no anchor, no orientation to anything at all. It can be destabilizing. But with time and maturity, it's like, oh, that's just how it is. It's just that way. So ultimately what you realize is you don't actually need an anchor. You don't actually need to orient. But what makes it feel uncomfortable is because you have thought you needed to orient all this time and you've been doing it with thought, and all of a sudden you can't. Then what you feel is like, oh, like you feel this grasping of like trying to orient. That's what's uncomfortable. When you realize you just don't even need to do that, then it's much more like fluid, really. It's just fluid and enjoyable and whatever. So, but yeah, at first it can be it's like a growing pain, but it won't stay that intense. It'll come and go for a while and you'll settle into it.
Va bene, grazie.
All right. And always grounding exercises, as we said to someone just before. Grounding exercises can also be helpful if you start getting like disoriented and dizzy, and like some people get like vertigo, like it's hard to walk for a little while or something. Yeah. So grounding exercises can be really helpful for that.
Yes, yes. Just maybe not at the workplace because it was like,
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Nice to see you.
You too.
Javier.
Hello, can you hear me?
I sure can. Welcome.
Hello, hello. So my case, I think it's a relatively strange one because I had a very easy awakening. It was almost spontaneous. I had how do you call it? Flashes all my life, like something like this, like this. I don't know how to explain it, but recognizing that this is this, it's not the world of thought. And then the shift came in 2014, reading an interview by Sam Harris, in which he explained the metaphor of looking through the window and suddenly you see your reflection. And at that point, once you see your reflection, you cannot unsee it. Or you always, anytime you want, you can see it. So that was 2014, incredible. Honeymoon period, all fantastic. But then, of course, I was trying to use it to bypass massively emotions. And thanks to your channel and your book, now I'm doing shadow work, and I'm discovering a lot of repressed emotions, a lot of anger, a lot of fear. And I can see directly how it's caused my life to be much smaller than it could be. I don't take responsibility sometimes, don't take risks, and procrastinate a lot. And that's the thing. So I don't know if you can have any pointer or some suggestion or something like that. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Tony, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I had similar things. After the first awakening, to me, it's really all about just accepting and surrendering more and more. And I had a time period that felt like a loss of a personal will after the first awakening because it was very explosive and it shattered. I would say it disrupted a lot of beliefs that I already had. That was, just about life and what you're
Mhm.
supposed to do with it and what it means, and you know, um, it really rearranged and shattered some of that stuff, and really put me in a alien type world, I guess you could say. But it did take away a personal will for a good long time, and really never recovered fully. But you know, one thing that I would say is to be careful as you're going through this after, is to not watch out for like when like the mind will start telling you things about it afterwards, like everything is meaningless. Watch out for like nihilistic views, because that can be helpful in a certain
Yes.
way, but you have to keep going. If you stop at nihilism and nothing means it can take on a very dark tone, and you have to keep going and see through the nihilism, and and understand that at a certain point it's kind of like there's no meaning, but the flavor you give it gives its meaning. But you can't control it and you can't hold on to it, and it's birthing and dying every second. But in that birth and dying every second, there's a ton of meaning that's given, and then it's taken away. So it's all about not grasping and surrendering, and really examining any thoughts that come up that try to tell you a conclusion about the way it is or the way it's supposed to be.
Okay. I think I had much more nihilism before my awakening than after. In fact, I think a certain flavor of nihilism or depression or something like that, it's one of the things that helped me in my awakening.
Yeah, I had both before and after, so I had to deal with it. I had to deal with it both ways.
Yeah.
Javier, the only thing I was going to add to that is you mentioned seeing these sort of patterns you have, and emotional patterns and reactions to the
Mhm.
emotions and whatever behavioral stuff. Just just try not to add judgment toward yourself. Like when you see these things, it's not like they're new. It's also not like you're any different than anybody else, right? You're just seeing it. That's the difference. So sometimes we add a lot of judgment, like, oh God, this is never going to end. I'm so self-centered. I just react to so many things. I have, it's not really as it's not as monumental a project as it seems like that the mind will make it into, but because the mind can't sort this out. But if you just stay present with it, feeling through these things, seeing the triggers, seeing like, okay, let's say I'm just making things up, but like impatience, like I have a lot of impatience, let's say, just seeing, okay, well, what does it cost me, and how does it benefit me? Because there's always both. Everything benefits you, or you wouldn't do it. Even if you totally dissociate from life and live in a like completely fabricated world, you're getting something out of it, even if it's uncomfortable, right? So the key is always seeing what are both sides. What have I been using this for? Because it's a coping mechanism. What do I get out of doing this? And what has it cost me? Just seeing both very clearly every time something arises. That's all you have to do, and feel it. Feel any associated emotions. Judging yourself doesn't help, because the truth of it is the habits are here. The conditions are here. You didn't choose any of it. You're hooked up the way you're hooked up because of the way you were brought up, your traumas, your personality structure. Like, it's not anything you're in control of with thought. So it's okay that these things come up, and it's good that they come up because we can actually address them. And a simple, intelligent way to address them is cost benefit analysis. What does this cost me in life? And what have I gotten out of it? Because both are accurate. And with time, I find the vasanas, the habits, they just settle more and more and more. And your behavior, your heart, your intentions all start to align more and more with compassion and selflessness. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Totally.
You're welcome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you.
Thank you.
All right, we have one last but not least, my good friend, Lisa.
Let's see here. Hey, yay.
Hey, darling.
Woo! I love you and Tony. Woo! It's so good to see you guys. Ah,
Good to see you too.
So, the question I was going to ask about this is really funny. Oh, there's so much emotion coming up. I love y'all so much. This group, I swear, this community, and everybody here that knows my retreat buddies, a lot of you are here anyway. I was going to ask about emotion and not having it, but holy shit, it's so present right now. It's like, this is ridiculous.
Isn't that ironic?
Question. Thank you, Jennifer, honey. I love you too. Yeah.
You know, Alma stayed with me over the holidays, and one of the conversations we had towards the end was how much joy actually starts coming through. And you know, I don't talk about this too much because I really don't want to give something just more seeking to people of like the big cookie at the end. But the truth of it is that's my experience for sure. Like I can experience any emotion, but I don't really experience anger. Not really. But I can experience some grief, some sadness here and there. It's pretty mild these days if it comes through. Fear rarely, but the joy is like more and more and more. It just feels like joy and an outflow of love. Love is an outflow. It's not like trying to gather something to me. It's just a feeling of an outflow of compassion, love, interest, openness. And that really becomes the default experience, I think. And yeah.
The chocolate chip cookies at AOL, they would come out every 3 or 4 days and be like, ah, right. So that's the joy you're talking about a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the question I wanted to ask, because I feel like it could be relevant. I think, and I'm interested to ask it because, yeah, I mean, I'm just fucking so happy, and this has been, I mean, things are really finally, really getting great. But I had some really difficult times along the way, and so it's really important, I think, to talk about that. And one question I wanted to ask, because of something that Pete said about he was sitting and all of a sudden, like he felt like. The way I interpret it is like he felt like he was going to throw up and he had to stand up, a lot of stuff was happening. And I was going to say a lot of emotion, a lot of energetic emotional tone has not been a big part of this. I have a large energetic tone towards joy, but when it comes to an energetic movement towards those more difficult feelings, it feels like it comes up as a physical problem as opposed to a real, as just an energetic feeling. And like literally full on moderate to severe, what they call GERDs, which is regurgitating, like acid reflux, not a sense of acid reflux my entire life. And all of a sudden full on, like, in the middle of the night, waking up and I'm throwing up into my mouth. And to the kind of thing that definitely takes you to the doctor, like, what the fuck is going on with me? And I've had numerous situations throughout the last 3 to 5 years of very serious, like seemingly medical problems that all turned out to be nothing. And a lot of them were associated with the gastrointestinal and the whole, I guess, gut awakening, maybe. I don't know. So I was going to get your feedback on that and what you think about that as an alternative way that the system energetically handles all these changes, as opposed to just an emotional tone.
Yeah, I have just 2 simple answers for this, or 2 simple things I want to say about it for you and for anyone listening. Number one is never overlook the possibility that you're experiencing something medical, because we are not. Awakening doesn't turn us into Iron Man. We still have bodies, and our bodies can malfunction and so forth. So always consider that. With that said, with time, most of the time we start to sense like when it's energetic, either physical pain or something, or when it's maybe not. But so that's number one. Number two, though, is it is true that the more, from what I find, the more awake you are, let's say, the less boundaries there are, ego boundaries, self-sense, filters that make reality seem like it's separate, separated into parts and space and all that. When those are just not here, what I find is that energetic resistance patterns tend to be very physical. They're felt much more physical and directly than even emotion, or both. You can feel emotion and that, but a lot of times it's just a very physical felt experience. And that's pretty typical, I think. What I recommend is something very simple. Is if you're feeling something like that, and you've looked into medical aspects of it or whatever, but you're feeling some density, some contraction, some pain in the gut or in one part of the body, it can be in strange places. I've seen it like in people's knees and things like a part of your body you wouldn't expect. It's not one of the chakras, but it's some place. And we really start digging into it, like in a circling environment, and all of a sudden it starts mobilizing and they realize like they've been holding trauma there. Right. So the questions I like to ask are things like, am I adding any resistance to this system right now? Or is there any resistance in the system right now? And kind of directing the question at whatever, pain state you're feeling or contracted space. And sometimes just that, because I find it's pretty much resistance. It's not really emotion. It's resistance to either emotion or trauma or something, but it's a resistance pattern that's just become somatic, basically. And it's just asking, is there resistance here? Yeah. And it tends to kind of soften it, open it a little bit, mobilize it. So it's gentle approaches with just curiosity, and feeling, of course, just feeling directly. But if beyond non-dual realization, you can't not feel it. It's just there. So
that really makes sense. That trying to like have a connection between emotion as opposed to this resistance that you're speaking about, because literally there have been these situations and they'll be like ongoing for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Like I had a lot of pain during the 30-day silent retreat, right? And all of a sudden it just disappears. Or then I go through this thing where like I have this GERD thing, and then all of a sudden it will like be full on and it'll just completely disappear. So it's quite obvious that it's something has been released, something's been let go. Not that there was anybody that let anything go. It's just, I've always felt like it was just pure grace. But it just flips. It goes from that to the other. So it makes sense that it's this resistance. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. What do you think? Got
anything, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had all kinds of stuff. I had, I had pain in my jaw, in my head, and I learned how to ground with that and get that out of there. I had chronic back pain in my 20s and 30s from not feeling emotions. And then when I started to work with emotions to figure it out, it went away totally, like all by itself.
Yeah.
And also, like with Anata, it was like it's like I knew there wasn't a Tony, but there was something that wanted to be here now, stay here. Like I am here. And then when that starts to, when that goes, there's gonna be all kind of destabilizing things, but it's kind of like a pilot when he's up and he's getting the G's and he starts to get like, it can feel when you reach out for here and then here's not there anymore and you're centerless, it's like falling, and it can be destabilizing, and it can have all kinds of, there can be all kinds of, but I mean, there's quick stabilization to that too, in a way, but yeah, it's a very strange experience when that happens, and you're not ready.
I think it's really great for us to be talking about this, because these things do happen, and the biggest thing that seemed to be the most beneficial that would happen is that I would realize, okay, this is probably something about awakening maybe, and I don't need to think about it. I don't need to go into like, oh my God, I'm dying, I've got cancer, whatever the hell it is, because it's like, it would be more like, oh wow, this is great. This is awakening. I'm okay that I'm almost throwing up in the middle of the night. Or I went through a series where I was pooing in the bed, y'all. Stop it. What? What?
That didn't happen to me. I don't know.
I mean,
haven't had that one.
Absolutely no warning either. No stomach cramp, no nothing. Just what the hell is going on? And immediately, because it was so friggin' weird with no symptomatic component, that I was like, this has got to be awakening. What else could it be? This is too crazy. So anyway, hope that doesn't happen to you, but when it does, you can go, woohoo!
I'm going to send you an email as soon as it happens.
Yeah,
Anyway.
when Tony was describing his experience, I thought, well, I might as well say mine too. So when I was in my 20s, I had a lot of back pain. I remember it, and I would have never in a million years thought that's what it was, but that's what it was. And some in my 30s as well. And then headaches. I had bad headaches after awakening for it was pretty solid for about 5 years. And it would actually respond. Like I could take Advil, I could take ibuprofen, and it would help. So it wasn't a constant severe headache, but I was prone to headaches like all the time. Like it was just there. And it was so much energy in my head, like, because I was so heady before. And that's tapered off over time. And then periodically different pains in various parts of my body. But after a while, I started noticing what it was. And I could just kind of, my attention would just naturally go there and it would start to loosen up and dissolve. But yeah, I wouldn't have made that connection before. It just didn't dawn on me. But now it's really obvious.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I appreciate y'all being willing to chat about this. And everybody here, you have to not talk about this with anybody. This is our secret, all of y'all, because a tad embarrassing.
My family and my friends don't even know I'm interested in this, much less anything happen. I think they think I'm agnostic or something, They just don't ask.
Meanwhile, I mean, I went through all of that, and I'm so grateful for the intensities of it and being here right now and just riding that sine wave of consciousness just loving it and living it. And blessings. I love you, Angelo. And it's wonderful. And I love you, Tony, and everybody here.
Thank you, Lisa. It's great to see you. Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate your openness, your willingness to explore and sharing with all of us. And we will see you again next month. Thank you again, Tony. Appreciate it, man. Always good to have you. Tony comes to, just in case anyone doesn't know, he comes to periodically the Art of Living retreat centers we have, the silent retreats and so forth. He'll do Q&As there as one of the breakout rooms. So anyway, thank you all.